The Move tool in Photoshop is on the surface pretty simple and fairly easy to figure out. You select the tool on the toolbar or you hit V for Move, and then you can use your mouse to drag the layer into the correct spot. Simple. However, there are things that can trip you up and there are a lot of options on the Move tool, so I'd like to get into it a little bit deeper than normal to make sure you really understand how it works. The first thing to know is that you will be moving whatever layer is currently active. So if I want to move the red layer, just clicking on the red square and dragging will not work. I need to select that layer first and then I can drag it with my mouse anywhere. This can be disconcerting if you've used other drawing tools like Illustrator or AutoCAD because the behavior is different than you'd expect. You expect that when you click on an object, that object will be selected, but that's not the case in Photoshop, which is a pixel editor and not a vector editor. It can also cause problems if for some reason your active layer is hidden. Nothing is happening, or so it seems, but if I turn the red layer back on, I can see that I was moving the red layer instead. If you do want to be able to just click on an object or layer and drag it, there is an option that you can turn on to give that behavior. It's up here in the options bar, the Auto Select option. If I turn it on, then I can click on layers and move them. Photoshop will select the correct layer and you can see that in the Layers panel. I don't even need to actually move the layer, it just selects that layer when I click on it. This can be nice to turn on at times, but there are other times when it gets in the way. Sometimes I like to leave it off, but turn it on temporarily by hitting the Control key. I'm going to hit F12 to go back to the original file. Then I'll turn the option back off. If I want to move the green box but the red layer is selected, I can just hold the Control key down while clicking on the green box. I don't even need to hold the Control key down once I've selected the correct layer. If you want to move your layer or object in a straight line, hold down the Shift key. This will actually constrain the movement to 0, 90, or even 45 degrees. I'm undoing my moves and starting over while holding down the Shift key here. One thing that affects how the Move tool behaves is snapping. There is an option under the View menu that allows you to turn snapping on and off. I currently have it on. So when I'm moving something, I can see how it snaps right to the edges of other layers or even the edges of the canvas. I generally prefer this behavior and leave snapping on, but sometimes you just want to move something by eye and don't want it to snap. So you can turn it off through the menu or with Control plus Shift plus semicolon. So now that it's off, it is not snapping to the edge of the canvas anymore. I can get close without touching. Now, believe it or not, if you want to temporarily turn on snapping, you can also hold the Control key down to turn it on, and now I can snap to the edge again. Conversely, if I have snap turned on already, I can temporarily turn it off by holding down the Control key. These are the things that can make Photoshop confusing sometimes because you may not really know what's going on, but it also makes it super powerful once you start to get how the shortcuts work. The Control key is a shortcut for turning Auto Select on and off, but it is also a shortcut for turning snapping on and off. The final point I want to make is that you can use the arrow keys to move your objects. If I have a layer selected and use the right, left, or up and down arrow keys, I can nudge the layer by 1 pixel. If I want to nudge it in an increment of 10 pixels, I can hold the Shift key down while I nudge it. So you can move things without using your mouse at all. When you want to work very precisely, nudging can be very useful. These are the basics of the Move tool, but there is more to explore, so I will do that in more videos.